with Lou Sims right now. We're going to talk about his upbringing, who he is and what made him the man he is, and the transformation that he made along the way. So tell him who you are, Lou, and where you're from, a little bit about your background.
I think you already told me who I am. So, a little bit about my background. First, I want to say happy birthday to you for you, man, because I was trying to chill out on these joints, but being I'm up in the city, I got you, But, you already say my name. I'm Lou Sims, you know what I'm saying, from Harlem, Once ran the streets of Harlem back in the days from the early 70s as a kid through the 80s and on through the 90s, Did a state bid in New York State as well as a federal bid, where I was sentenced to the death penalty, a capital case, that I fought, had overturned, and I came home off of, So that's alhamdulillah, You got to most definitely thank the high for that,
Okay, so sit still instead of just sliding the chair, that way you can focus
All right.
on your face. Yeah. So what was it like when you was going through it? Like, let me give you an example. The first time when I was going into ADX, I got off the plane in Colorado, and Matul Shakur was on the phone, and the first thing he told me was, don't take their medication, and that they're going to whoop me when I go downstairs. That's the initiation, and just the way they play it. But once they put me in there, my mind was on, man, I got to be here 5 years. And I'm trying to think of the whole 5 years, and it kind of gave me anxiety, and one dude was pacing back and forth in the cell. How did you feel when they put you in that situation, as far as to know that now they expect to try and kill you? That's what the death penalty is.
Well, first of all, I got to say that, I was more heartfelt. I was more heart hurt because of the people that they had lined up to take the stand, that took the stand, as well as to take the stand on my federal case as well as my state case, my state capital case. So that was most, that was most hurtful. But me, during the course of the day, I didn't have time enough to think about, because I was doing my 30 years. I didn't have time enough to think about, that they was going to sentence me to death. But then at nighttime, it dawned on me. So with that being said, that made me bring out, my legal material and read it over and over again. And those that know, I represented myself in my second capital case when they on the overturn, because I believe that I knew my case more than the lawyers knew it. So that helped a lot, because every night I wake up and I read the case over and over again, and sometimes things that I missed the first time, I catch it the second time. And the reason why I was successful, because I had, back then, you ain't had a bunch of laws that was coming out. You had to find loopholes. And one of the persons that helped me, was Dr. Shakur. He was the first one that took me down and had me write all the organizations as far as to to get a lawyer to help me in my capital case, as well as law students. And then, he told me the first case when I was unbelieving when they first told me that I was being tried, being sent to Alabama, and I was unbelieving it, because I was like, yo, that's double jeopardy. I'm already sentenced to that in the feds. And he was basically told me like, yo, one of the first case he brung up was Timothy McVeigh, the Oklahoma bombing, and he showed me that, yo, this is what they doing. And I was like, wow. That's when I really realized how strong the case was. That it basically became political in what they was doing. So I used to wake up and and I'm only giving y'all this history because the kids need to know that the things that y'all get in, y'all will be held accountable for it, because the system is designed for us to for us to come in here, for us to break the laws. And even if we have a way to get out, the next person that's coming behind us that break that same law, they got something for them, because they're going to fix the law so that law won't be able for you to get out of. So I witnessed a whole lot of you know, as far as like dealing with that capital case, because I realized a lot of things that the feds withhold. Me fighting my state case, I received a lot of information that would have been more helpful in my federal case. You know.
Okay, so I got a question on that. You said that you were surprised at the people that they lined up against you for your case.
Yeah, because these are the same people that was on the street with me, and most of these people I grew up with since I was kids. You know, I'm talking about kids, not when I say I'm talking about since public school. You know what I'm saying, grade 1 to 6, junior high school. You know what I'm saying, and on too, as well as you know what I'm saying. We ran the streets as criminals during that time. You know, so I was more surprised because they knowing the law. But I guess when you're dealing with these federal people, that's when you run into the real gangsters. And when you run into the real gangsters, this is what happened. You know what I'm saying? They got something for us. You know.
So what did it feel like when you saw your comrade get on the stand, your day one?
I just told you, like, it was more hurtful just to see him, especially to see that he was able to stare me in my eyes. You know what I'm saying, and do this. I'm looking at it as wow, but it is what it is, though. You know.
But that's what I want the young people to understand, that the same ones you in the car with, breaking bread with, smoking with, going to parties with, doing everything together with, that could be the one that testify against you. And I can't even begin to tell you what it felt like to sit there seeing a man on the stand that, I gave him everything he had. And now he's looking in my eyes and he's saying things that I never thought he would say. And, so that's what really moved me. So these young people, Lou, so you understand, I want them to hear from us. I know what you felt like.
Well, that's part of me. We all took from, you know what I'm saying. We all took from, the same hoods that we grew up with. We all took from it. You know what I'm saying. But we all had tried to give back at that time, but realized we were still, taking more from it. But right now, me being released, my first thing was to come home and do prison reform. But now that I'm home, I'm on some more, I'm on some more trying to save the youth from being destructive. You know what I'm saying? Repeating the same mistakes that I went through as far as like juvenile, you know what I'm saying, state prison, federal prison, you know what I'm saying? It was like a graduation. So when I look at certain movies like Humphrey Bogart movies, I was like, wow, you know what I'm trying to say? They try to tell us this before we even look at it, but those are the movies that everybody imitated and try to be like. So now, you know what I'm saying, I'm trying to give you this where I'm at now and trying to give you my experience, I'm trying to say, to be a learning or education to them,
One thing you always told me, and when you came home, you found out I was doing my platform, you said that what you wanted to deal with was the brothers that was locked up within the system,
right?
In the shoes, solitary confinement. Talk about that.
Because that was that. One thing about it, I left behind a lot of soldiers. You know what I'm trying to say, and I witnessed the police, the overseers' abuse. You know what I'm saying, and as well as how the system from the taxpayers' money being misused and things like that. But also, the federal system got real worse now. You know what I'm trying to say, where they was basically you can catch if it was a killing there, they'll wipe that up, and it's a lockdown for everything now. You know what I'm saying, and the food that they giving you is not nutritious enough to keep people healthy. So you see a lot of people that you might say, yo, he came home from jail, he still look like he been on the street. It's because that's how the prison have gotten to right now. It's no more rehabilitation for us, like as well as preserving the body. It's no more of that now. So like it's like I said, back then you had a lot of writ writers. You know what I'm saying? So every little thing like they doing now, they wasn't able to do because we was filing on everything. But now it's not no writ writers because all the writ writers they able locking them down on, you know what I'm saying? Or it, you know, people come in now they don't even want to study their case. They just take that time and just lay down with it and suffer with it. Back then, everybody was trying to get home and try to make the conditions in the prison more better than what they was.
Okay, so what was it like actually being, you know, like, let's talk about Atlanta. You know what I mean? Let's talk about Atlanta. Lou tried, you know, he wanted to know what I was going to ask him ahead of time, but I want you to know who he is, and I want you to hear from him. Because I heard some stories about Lou that you wouldn't believe, and I'm like, man, you know, he going through it. Like the situation in Atlanta with the police. You know what I mean? To explain to them how that took place so they know how easy it is, you know what I mean, to get in the situation even though you're just trying to do your time. So you said you was fighting your case.
But then back then you got to remember that Atlanta's a black ran jail. You know what I'm saying? So them dudes basically grew up just like we grew up. You know what I'm saying? They may have took the right path, but at the same time they grew up just like we grew up. So when they get off, they go hang out with the criminals and all that stuff too. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, back then, you had officers that will go on the cell with you one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? So, and then you had them officers that will come in there, and you got to remember, these are country dudes, 6'4", 300 pounds, bad body, and if they coming in a little cell on you, they all fall down on you. You know, most likely you you could die, suffocation. You know what I mean? But Atlanta was one of the best prisons I've been in, but it was also one of the worst for us, like, you know what I'm saying, dealing with the staff, because like I said, they come from the same cloth that we came to. So, you know what I'm saying? So the officers, you know, even though they wasn't allowed to, they was bringing their knives too, which was real knives. You know what I'm saying? You know?
They was bringing their knives to the prison. Explain to the youth that so they understand that the police had knives when he started the bid so they could protect themselves.
Well, you know, I mean, you know, I'm quite sure they wouldn't, if you're from New York State, you probably witnessed that on Rikers Island anyway. But, you know, it's like that's the same thing. But, you know, like I said, you know, Atlanta was a different kind of jail because it was a black ran jail, you know, and they ain't care. So they'd catch a body and that kill an inmate in there and just cover that up. You know, so you had to be on, you know, it's either you was going to go for it or you wasn't going to go for it. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got to always respect. Gangsters only going to respect the next gangster. You know what I'm trying to say? Not by word of mouth for all you young dudes that want to run off with the mouth or shoot from across the street or something like that. It's not. You know what I'm trying to say? If you talking like that, because, you know, it's a lot of times, you know, you got to realize that a lot of times, like in, you know, as time went on, you know, they start sending. Well, let me just explain this to you. When I first came into the federal system, you had to have 20 years or a life sentence to be in the pen. You know, now they sending violators. You know what I'm saying? Anybody with, you know, 5-10 years to the pen, and that's making it hard for dudes that got life because they going for anything. You know, back when I came in, they'd ride for a hamburger. You know, if the hamburger ain't cooked, we riding for that, or they gonna cook that hamburger again. You know what I'm saying? And it came word of mouth. Like if you talking loud and you know you make that man feel like you want to, you know, get into it, because a lot of times men gonna try to settle things, but another man are trying to, but somebody like a punk or somebody like that, he gonna try to make it seem like he's about that. But when you get into it with him, the first thing they be like, yo, you ain't had to do that. And a lot of times that have happened, you know.
Okay, so what did they do while I know you know what I mean? And, you know, you're a peaceful dude and you're an honorable dude. That's the main thing. But, you know, you just stay in your lane. How did you allow the police to get you out of your lane? I'm saying you allowed because you know now.
Well, back then it wasn't about being peaceful because I was still young. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't care about nothing. You know, especially after they gave me a death sentence. So I didn't bar none, as I did the same thing on the street. But, you know, that's how it was. You know.
Okay, I'm still asking. What did they do? What happened? You know, because I heard about.
I mean, we ain't gonna. I mean, you know,
man, don't be too humble.
Nah, I'm not. I don't really, you know, go into the details of you know, what happened with the COs
They want to
because,
hear it. What are you talking about?
you know,
That's why you here.
like,
They
yo,
wanna hear
look,
it.
you trying to make me seem like, you know, a lot of times, listen, a lot of times certain things like that or stories, I'd rather for somebody else to tell it. You know what I'm trying to say? Because sometimes a lot of people tell stories and they over exaggerate it and make it seem like, you know what I'm saying, you know, I would rather for somebody else to tell. Like, but I did get into it with over CO, you know what I'm trying to say, which I was in a hole, and they couldn't they couldn't they couldn't charge me with it because he was in the wrong. But at the same time, you know, like I said, you dealing with black COs there that's come from the street too. So when it's a violation, especially when they trying to try you to see if you really like that, you know what I'm saying? You got to you got to, how you say it, how people may say it, represent as far as like that. So it won't be a repeated thing, or they know that, no, look, I ain't going for that, you know.
All right, let me explain this to help you out, because I was there. Back when we came in, when me and Lou came in the early 90s during the war on drugs, right? When we came in, we had people before us, what he called writ writers, that if they was treating us unjust, they took it to court and they got us what we deserved. So they sacrificed themselves, because when you write a writ, tell them what happened when they write a writ on them for not giving us, you know, cooked hamburger or the proper nutrients, or not letting us out the cell.
Well,
What happened to them?
What happened to the police?
No, what happened to them by the police? Like, how did the police retaliate about them writing it up?
Oh, you know, but most of the time, you know, like it came a time where they, you know, that how they would get the writ writers there and say, okay, if y'all filing frivolous stuff, you know, trying to say you gonna be charged with that. So that really, so like the new people that was coming, like, I don't want to get charged, I want to go home. So they wasn't filing certain things like that. But what I'm gonna tell you is this: the writs, writing your writs, as far as like the conditions of jail, you know, it was helping us to get things which the taxpayers is paying for, but it also was if a police didn't do his job and you wrote up a lawsuit on them, you can also put a freeze on their whole account. In fact, if the whole jail was responsible for whatever wrongdoings they did to you, from the warden all the way down, you know what I'm saying, you can sue them and and have their whole account a freeze. So, because I witnessed at times where COs have come and said, yo, look, these people ain't paying for my lawyer, and, you know, I can't even pay my bills, they falling behind. You know what I'm saying? Could you just drop the lawsuit and whatever? But, you know, it'd be too late for that, you know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, a lot of people portray to be one way, and then when they get exposed, they want to be another way. So now, you know, the job is needed. The job is needed, so now you want to, you know what I'm saying, compromise with it. You know what I'm saying? You want to make not compromise, but you want to make some kind of amends for them to drop the lawsuit, so you won't have to go through all that, far as like, so they wouldn't have to go through that, as far as like, you know, their account being a freeze. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
When you say freeze, make them understand what you say freeze, so they understand.
That whatever check they get, they cannot spend it. Their bank accounts and all that is froze until the case is over. You know.
So if it take 2 years, they can't pay their bills for 2 years.
For 2 years until the case is over. You know, that's the same thing with lawsuits that we was filing back then and everything. So, you know, most of the time they'll try to, when you start filing before you even get to the court, they try to put you on a diesel therapy, sending you to this, you know, put you on a bus, have you traveling for this jail, to spend the night in this jail, and this jail, you back on with a black box, you know what I'm saying, on your arms, you know.
So when you was doing your time, right, when you first went in, we know how the system was. How did it turn out afterwards? When you came home, what happened in those 20 years, 30 years?
The system got worse. You know, the food, you know what I'm saying? When I came in the system, they had weights, all kind of programs you can take, you know, physical programs, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, our programs consist of, you might have plumbing, you know, so you'll be in a plumbing shop where you really learning plumbing, refrigeration, you really learning that stuff. Now it's basically you doing it on paper, so you got to read it, answer the questions, and now you get a certificate instead of going through the real thing, Chesters are really going in there and the real experience of working with the refrigerators or the plumbing. So now and then you got to remember, I was a kid when I came. I'm not gonna say I was a kid. I was an adult, but at the same time I was still young. So I was still going to the mess hall eating cereal. They had all kind of cereal like Captain Crunch and Fruit Loops and all that. So I was cool with that with a big Danish with the icing on it. But they was cooking food in front of you back then. But now, you know what I'm saying, you don't even see your food before you even get it. You can't even complain about a food no more. Then you got the people that's coming in now, a lot of these people, a lot of these youths, that's what I'm trying to say. I would rather get to the youth because a lot of youth is coming to these prisons and they've been up under these video games and they don't have the same experiences that we grew up back when I was growing up. PAL, boxing, I'm trying to say, oh, you go to Elmira State, that's boxing, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Karate class, that was the like the neighborhood, how you say it, babysitter for or daycare for kids when I was growing up. Now they don't have that. They got a bunch of video games, and when you come to jail now, I was finding out that a lot of homies was disappointments to me because they couldn't even they had the language, you know what I'm trying to say, but they didn't have the fighting abilities too, you know what I'm saying. So it took me all the way to the door to realize I was holding down a state that was a bygone, you know what I'm saying, because when I came to the federal system, it was everybody in there that done did state biz, so we had razors in our mouths and all that stuff, so we brought that state mentality to the feds, you know what I'm saying, and ain't nobody slipped through that because certain dudes was in there, we was communicating, so you couldn't do nothing in one jail and think you was going to move to another jail. Nah, that wasn't happening, you know what I mean. So a lot of dudes that's home now or maybe in prison, they may say that I ran a tight ship, but that's the way it was because everything is geographic, and I never was close to home, far as like Allenwood, Lewisburg. When I went to Lewisburg, I was there on a lockdown program, a 23 and 1 lockdown program, and then I went to Allenwood, that was a step down program. So I wasn't never close to home. All my time was spent out west, you know what I'm trying to say, deep in the south, stuff like that. So it wasn't a lot of homeboys there. It'd probably be anywhere from 35 to 75 of us there if we was close, like Hazleton or something like that. Other than that, we was always the minority on the compound, the lesser. So, we had to fend for ourselves. But I'm going to say this because, I went through the same thing in the state, you know what I'm saying? When I went through the state prison, you know what I'm saying? Harlem dudes was the minority and the lesser, you know what I'm trying to say? So, other words, I had to, I was always outnumbered, you know what I'm trying to say? But, Allah blessed me to have certain kind of skills, you know what I'm trying to say, far as like to survive, you know what I'm saying? From that to the state, from that to the feds.
Yeah, so now, these young dudes coming in, as I ran across them, the ones that crossed your path, because you said it, a key word, that you ran a tight ship, Explain to them what that means, a tight ship. Or you let them slide, or you not letting them slide?
A tight ship is that, it's certain things that we going to uphold. And as far as like us being if we got to govern each other, there's certain things that we ain't gonna uphold, and a lot of things that's starting to come as far as like the that's now in the prison system, like you know what I'm saying, dudes being allowed to, like it's a fad now for a dude to be allowed to jerk off in front of females. You know what I'm saying? That's something that I didn't allow. You know what I'm trying to say? I didn't allow no stealing. You know what I'm trying to say? And I'm not going to allow somebody that told on the compound. You know what I'm trying to say? Because, I'd rather if we do something, if we get into something, which we bound to get into something that's a state-to-state or a gang-related incident, I'd rather for somebody to tell on me that didn't tell on their case than to have somebody on the compound that tell on me. So, a lot of things certain along those lines I didn't allow on the compound. You know what I mean? And I realized being out, reason why I said I took it all the way to the door, because all my time was done in penitentiaries, whereas at the spirit of the moment, like any moment, something could just jump off. You know what I'm trying to say? You might have a homie that did some dumb stuff or did something that, down in the library or the commissary or something like that, pop off, and then it spilled over in the units. So I had to always be on point in certain things I didn't allow. So I ain't never had to worry about nobody in the commissary getting caught jerking on a female in front of a man. You know what I'm trying to say? And the man took action on it. I ain't never had to worry about no stuff like that because it wasn't condoned. You know what I mean?
See the way he said that? I want y'all to understand what he's saying. You got young men that's coming in now that's pulling out their man parts and, masturbating into females. And, the first thing they're going to say is, he from the New York car. What they do when they hear that, when the police say that?
Right now, like I said, it's accepted on a lot of cars, you know what I'm trying to say, but back then it wasn't accepted. You know what I'm trying to say? But I never worry about what the police said. They gonna say whatever they want to say. You know what I'm trying to say? Because we govern our own selves. You know what I'm saying? We not gonna, our dispute. We ain't gonna worry about no police. Even though they try to pull certain dudes, leaders out and try to talk to them to see if they can solve problems. But you know what I'm saying? That's among us. So I don't really care about what the CO said because they're police. They're overseers. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna do their job. So you can be friendly with an overseer today, but and they come in on a ride, he gonna do his job. So you ain't no friend of mine. So I don't even care what about what they saying.
See, that's what I wanted you to answer, because now it's the second part to that. Now how about when the other cars look at us that's in there that Lou got a dude jerking off.
Well, they already know about that because it's gonna be established. You know what I'm saying? Some people gonna have it, but I'm gonna let them know straight off the top. Look, one of yours I catch them with pulling out something in front of me. I'm not even coming to you and say nothing to you because you supposed to take care of that yourself. You know what I'm saying? Y'all supposed to take care of that. So it's gonna be handled the way it's supposed to be handled. You know what I'm saying? They can take that something. That's just like a thief. How you gonna justify having somebody stealing somebody else's stuff? You know what I'm saying? How you gonna justify this man from New York hustling in Carolina and his co-defendant there, and he told on his co-defendant. So now you get ready to start a whole war over him? You know what I'm trying to say? You understand what I'm saying?
I understand exactly. Tell them who him is.
The dude that snitched on the dude from another state.
Because he got the bag, dudes allow him to state, and then a real man come on the compound. And that's like you go on the compound, you find out a dude from New York hot, and he got the bag. You know what I mean? Now, and they've been allowing him to stay. So how would you rectify that when you hit the compound and find out that a known rat is running the compound?
Well, I mean, I handle it the same way I would feel if you was on the compound and you allow somebody to be that way. You know what I'm trying to say? I'll handle it the same way because I'll be like, yo, you let my co-defendant be on the compound and this was happening. Okay, now you can't be here. You know what I mean? Yeah. You can't. You're not gonna be on no compound and telling no story. Oh yeah, I ain't know, but he was looking out. Nah. You know what I'm saying? You need to go back and find him and do your comfortable bid with him. You know what I'm saying? Nah, we're not doing that one.
See, so that's what I'm saying. Lou runs a tight ship, man. Like he said, he don't like talking about himself, but there's a million stories about him. But I didn't have the pleasure of being on the compound with him. But when I had a situation in another compound, and Lou found out about it, he stepped right up to the plate, and that's why he's sitting here, and that's why he's in my heart. Because, and his co-defendant Farris. Those is men. That's what they call men of honor. They stand on principles. Like Lou don't pick if you because you a homie. If you wrong, you wrong. You know what I mean? And he'll check a homie even harder than he'll check an outsider. Because if he check an outsider, he putting the knife in. I know he didn't want to say that, but I'm just letting you know what it is. So how do you feel about, just when we first came in, we had weights, we had pool tables, we had everything, and then they took it away from us. Now, how did it feel when we started losing everything, and then had to go with, now they want to take out the microwaves in some jail, they took out the sugar, they took out the cigar, the cigarettes. How did you adjust to that and feel about that whole movement?
Well, that's when the prison system started getting worse. Like I said, at that time, at the beginning, them taking stuff like that, it would have been a riot. It would have been a riot. You know what I'm saying? We'd rather be locked down than not. You know what I'm saying? One thing about that's you know, the taxpayers don't understand why certain things happen. But far as like, how would they feel if they had to wash their clothes with everybody clothes and wear them clothes? You know what I'm saying? You know, you got people in there that got, you know, bed bugs or something that don't even, you know, care about how they living. So them your clothes being washed with theirs, you know, it's like you taking their, you know, you taking their.
Let me help you out with that. Give you a prime example. You said you advocate for the people that's locked up within the system, like in the SHU, in the solitary confinement. Now, a dude takes a towel and the cell floods, and there's feces on the cell,
Right.
on the floor. He take that towel and wipe the floor up with the feces,
Those are
and
same.
then he throws that in.
Right.
And now they bring you that same towel after they washed it
Right.
next week. Explain that to them so they understand.
Yeah, the underwears and all that. You know, you don't. You know, half of the time when you get if you used to bidding long time, if you get some underwears in them, you ain't trading them in. You're gonna keep washing them same underwears over and over again because you don't want your stuff washed with the next person's stuff. Like he said, when they flood and they wipe that white feces or urine up or like that, they them same towels, they put some disinfectant in it, but they don't really clean them stuff because they, you know, some stains still be on there, the underwears and all that. You be like, man, they ain't even washed that, but these are the same things they pass out for you to put on because it ain't like when you go to the hole or you being locked down, you can have your own personal underwears and stuff like that. So these are the underwears and stuff that they give you. But most likely when you go to a lockdown program, they're gonna give you brand new underwears. You don't trade them in because the only way you're gonna trade them in is you're gonna get some old stuff. And it's the same thing with the blankets. So, you know, you find people who be like, man, why he always have his blanket up? Because, you know, most of the time people wash their blankets and their sheets in that little ass sink. You know what I'm saying? Some people clean out their toilet to wash their laundry. That's just how jail is. Like, I'm just giving y'all you know, what it is. Because a lot of people that come in there that be lazy, they be sleeping on their blankets and sheets for months without even changing them, without even watching them. These are the same blankets that once they release, they wash them and they be passed on to you, you know.
Okay, so explain to them what a car is, and if it's a weak car, a car that allows something to go that is unacceptable in the prison system under our code.
Then you might as well tell. You just want me to write the whole book on this joint, the whole shit.
No,
I mean, what a car is, as far as like, you know, a car is. We don't have. A car is basically like those that's coming from, whether you be in a gang or be in a state to state, you know, that's what a car consists of. You know what I'm saying? You have certain people that's in the car that may be of leadership of that car. You know what I'm saying? Withholding that, you know. That's what a car consists of, you know.
So if a car has someone in it that's not honoring the code of the street, like somebody being hot, somebody stealing, you know.
Like I said, if they not you know, it depends. If they not withholding the certain laws that's governed by the pens, you know, they gonna look at it like, okay, they just want to build up numbers on their side. You know what I'm trying to say? Which numbers gonna consist of nothing anyway, because half of the time when you get in with them, half of the people that's over there, they either running or they ain't coming out anyway. But at the same time, what I'm trying to say is that when they don't uphold the laws and that's governed by the prison system, what happened is that they be excluded in anything that might be important. So if we talking about throwing a ride right then and there, but then, you know, when I first came in the system, you didn't have that. But now, you know, they have a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? They have a lot of that. And, you know, once you hear certain things that they're not taking care of, you know, you look at them like, yo, ain't no need for me to do no type of business with you. But, you know, you have some people that's on drugs that they may have the drugs and they'll deal with them on that tip. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like I said, a lot of things they not privileged to, you know?
Okay, so what is what is one of the worst things you've seen happen in the prison from any call? What is one of the worst things that you've seen in the prison to let them know what happened in the prison and how vicious you can get and how easy it pop off?
Well, it's a. I mean, it's a lot of anything can pop off. You can have an argument over a microwave, a placement in the microwave. It can escalate. You know what I'm saying? You can have an argument over the phone. The next person be over the phone. Some people got phone Jones and don't want to get off their horn, but at the same time, it can escalate from that. You know.
Okay, so but what did you see? Give me one that popped off over something like this, where you heard like, "Yo, go get your ice." Remember, we had to get the ice and run to the sale and.
Yeah, but that's like most of the time when you hear the if you in the unit and you hear the shots call off in the yard or something like that, you already know. You know what I'm saying? You trying to find out who was involved, if it's you, if it's you and somebody, if it got anything to do with you or not. But that's the first thing they're gonna do: go get their ice, try to heat up some food or whatever, get some hot water. But dealing with certain things like that, for like when something happened on the spirit of the moment, you got things in place. You know what I'm saying? Just in case it is, you know what I'm saying? Because if you know something happened, whether it's the commissary, the laundry, the yard, or something like that, and you hear it's the homeboys, you already know what it is. Especially with New York, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, every place I've been to, and that was one of my main laws of the prison when I came into it, is that if one of ours get hurt or we hurt one of us, we automatically taken off in that unit or whatever. You know what I mean? We ain't waiting around to see what happened. We'll worry about that when we get to the hole. We popping off right then and there, because there's not a lot of us that's there. And for one, if it's not a lot of us, we're not trying to be in California. We're not from California. And if we get visitors over there, our family got to go over there. So we don't want to got to come all the way to travel to California. So we don't want to be there. So the first thing, yo, look, this is my ticket out of here. We out of here. You know what I mean?
So what if somebody don't pop off? So the youngins say, man, nobody can tell me what to do. I'll go to prison. So if something happened and to somebody in a New York car and they in the right and we have to move out, and someone don't move out and then we all in the shoe, how does that play out?
But even if he in the right or wrong, we deal with that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm trying to say? That's not, I always, I have a bad, how would you say it, a habit of, if it's not brung to me and something to happen, you know what I'm saying, whether he wrong, and if he was in the wrong and not letting me deal with it, it's like a reflection on me. You know what I'm trying to say? Anything happen to one of mine, you bring it to me and let me do that. Let me take care of that. Because if he wrong, then I'm going to take care of that. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's a real violation. But if a person don't react to something like that, you already know what it is. He got to go too. You know what I'm saying? And one thing about it, I think everything deserves to be want to be fair. So if you come on the compound, nobody don't know who you is, and you ain't right. You know what I'm trying to say? We'll give you a courtesy, like I give them a care package, whether they need sneakers, sweatsuits, food. That's what the kitty is for. You know what I mean? Because if the homies hustling or what's the name, they already know. They know. They'll tell you they had to kick back, you know what I'm saying, put in that kitty to make sure.
Explain to them what the kitty is. They don't know.
The kitty consists of what I just told you, sweatsuits and all the rest of that, but you might have a store on the block. You know what I'm trying to say? So when when homie come in, look, give him a care package, give him some food, something to eat, you know what I'm saying, some slippers and all that shit till he get his property. But at the same time, if we don't know you, you know what I'm trying to say, or, you know what I'm saying, or we can't search your stuff on the computer, you got a certain amount of days to get your paperwork. If you don't get it in that 30 days, you're gonna leave. But at the same time, you done took our stuff. You know what I'm trying to say? You done took our stuff. So that was like, look, you know what I'm saying? If you know you're not right, leave now, because if you take this stuff and we find out that you're not right, you know what I'm saying, you're not leaving the compound, you know what I'm saying, as a walk-up. You know what I'm saying? We give them that courtesy. I gave them that courtesy, you know what I'm saying? Because you're not gonna be, like I said, anything can happen on the compound. You know what I'm trying to say?
So that's the same thing like the video I did today on Diddy, as far as someone lying to you when they know that they're telling a lie, and then that lie come out.
Yeah, but I'm saying with that Diddy situation, you got to realize he's influenced by lawyers, so you can't fault him for what he did wrong. Now I'm not condoning what he did to the female, because I got sisters, daughters, you know what I'm trying to say, mothers too, you know what I'm saying, putting their hands on a female. But at the same time, what I am saying is that you know, he's influenced by lawyers, you know what I'm saying? So he looking at, yo, my money paying for this lawyer, so this lawyer must, he know how to go by the law and what to do, you know what I'm saying? That should have been once he paid that money. I'm not saying I don't know nothing about it if he paid it or not. Once she won that lawsuit or he settled out of court to pay that, he should have made her apologize, period, anyway. You know what I'm trying to say? Didn't Kobe Bryant do it? Mm-hmm. All right, so he should have took notes to that one. I don't know if he did or not, but I'm saying if he did do that, then he should have took notes with that. You know what I mean? So now that the charges came out, you know, he wouldn't have to be like looking stupid. You know, I don't care if he lied to me or not. You know, that's his life he got to live. So you know.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. As far as someone in the prison, they telling you they're not hot, and you give them 30 days to get their paperwork, and then you find out that.
But most of the time, whether they know it or not, somebody in the law library already working on getting their paperwork before that. So you know, he can say, yo, he waiting for his property, or he waiting for his family to send it, or whatever like that, or he gonna get it from the counselor. You know, because most counselors will let him go back there and get. That's when they was allowing the PSI, but then they start coming out with so much fake stuff that people was documenting and that, you know, we couldn't even go by that. So now we basically was going by the docket sheets. With the docket sheets tell everything, you know what I'm trying to say? And I'm gonna give you an education on this because these are things that people need to know. A docket sheet tells everything, every court appearance. Even if you go down to court to see them people, you know what I'm trying to say, it's still considered a court. So if you go down there and think you're going to go to the federal building, like you go in the court and you go see the prosecutor and you're in there for what you call
pre-sentence report?
Nah, man. When you go see, when you make them,
legal call, legal visit?
Nah, man. When you go see the prosecutors, it's going to come to me, but when you go...
Trying to help out.
Nah.
Okay.
It's gonna come to me. It's been so long since I deal with the law, but at the same time, when you go down there and meet with them, period, it's documented on there. So when you get a docket sheet, it told you every time you left the building, or you know what I'm trying to say, or you left the house with that like that, and it tells you where you went at. You know, if you had a court appearance, it'll say what you had a court appearance for, whether to argue a motion or to put in a, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. So that's what we started depending on because the pre-sentence report was being was being edited, as well as you know, the counselors they stopped giving it out because when they was finding out, because instead of people just walking people up, they was leaving bloody, you know.
See, that's deep. So that's all I wanted to use to really understand that. It's nothing nice on the inside, and you got a man.
It's called a profit hearing.
Profit.
A profit hearing.
Yeah. Okay.
So when you see on the docket sheet it says profit hearing, that means that they went down there to talk to them people, meaning that they went to profit, tell what they need to tell, in order for them to get. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So when they do that, that's showing that they went back and said something they had no business saying, because they had no business leaving the jail in the first place.
Right.
You know, because like when I was in the county jail. When they used to come up and call people out and they go in and out, you know, they were talking to the prosecutor trying to work out a deal. So that's why I would leave the cell. If they call me, I tell them, nah, you know?
Yeah.
That way nobody got to speculate why I left the unit.
Right.
Where was Unique at? He left, the police took him down there. And then now you got all of this going on, you know? But, you know, times have changed and so many of our brothers, they fought for the privileges that we have now, you know, and then like he said, it was found in frivolous lawsuits.
Nah, they fought for privilege that been taken. You know what I'm saying? Like the privilege that we had. What you talking about? The system?
No, like the
law.
Writers,
oh, right. Yeah, but like I said, a lot of rip writers they fought for stuff for us to have in the jail that they slowly taken. You know what I'm saying? So you have microwaves and like you said the washing machines and dryers that they taking away now, the weights, you know what I mean? So a lot of that stuff they fought for to have, you know what I'm saying? Better food, better conditions, period. You know what I mean?
How would you mix that? Because I like to ride. How would you mix that with like Martin Luther King, how he fought for us to have the right to vote, and these are writ writers that are fighting for the right for us to have the things that we was entitled to.
Well, you know, I'm saying, you know, one thing about the laws that, you know, whether, you know, the laws that Martin have is still put in place today. But at the same time, what I'm trying to say is that these people that's you know, the overseers, like you say, America or the prison system, if it benefit them, then that's what it is. You know what I'm trying to say? So it benefited them to let us allow the vote. You know what I'm saying? It benefited them to stop slavery. You know what I mean? You know, at that time they looked like, okay, you know what I'm saying? We fight the North against the South. What better help than we need to you know what I'm saying, let's free the slaves so they can help us fight in the war. But at the same time, they fighting in a war, but after the war is over, where you going? So you coming right back to the same plantation to work for the same thing. So it's a better fit for them. You know what I mean? They promised us 30 acres of the mule, I think, what they say, but how many people got 30 acres of the mule? You know what I'm trying to say? And even after they got their freedom papers, it was even harder for them. Just where you going at? You don't know no place but that plantation. You know what I mean? So if it benefit them, that's what it is. You know?
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
Fresh out the can of 26, yeah. He back on the strip, getting back in the mix. Yeah. What he mentions a gift. Right. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Real. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. An Instagram page and a YouTube you could go and visit. Yeah. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Real. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squealing to the cops, Mecca audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spin a couple bands on the dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a roaring uptown. Baby horn uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend a ear. He started in uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community yours. So we can give back to the youth them. Cause they the truth them. And bless up to all the root men.